Let's talk about Apple, the company that built a cult-like following with sleek devices, premium branding, and a promise of innovation. For years, Apple users didn't just buy devices, they bought into a lifestyle, a vision, a sense of being ahead of the curve. But lately, it seems like something's different. In 2024, Apple reported a 5% decline in global iPhone sales during the fourth quarter, with its market share slipping to 18% worldwide. In China, Apple's iPhone sales plummeted by 18.2% in the last quarter of 2024, dropping the company from its top position to third place, behind Huawei and Vivo. Meanwhile, net income fell 4.7% to $96.2 billion, signaling that even Apple isn't immune to slowing growth. Consumers are complaining, developers are frustrated, even regulators are stepping in. Apple's pursuit of profit is finally causing problems, and it's become impossible to ignore. Today we're breaking down why Apple's strategies may be backfiring, how it's affecting users and developers, and what it could mean for the future of one of the world's most valuable companies. Apple has always been synonymous with premium pricing, and for years many consumers willingly paid for perceived value, but recent moves has made some questioning whether it's worth it anymore. Take Apple TV Plus. In August 2025, the monthly subscription jumped from $9.99 to $12.99, more than a 30% increase. Apple pointed to an expanded library of original shows and movies as justification, but social media exploded with complaints. I can't justify paying more, and cheaper streaming services have better content, and Apple's just gotten greedy. The iPhone 15 model start at $1,200 for standard configurations, with MacBooks and iPads not far behind. Compare that with competitors. Samsung Galaxy's S24 starts around $799 with comparable specs. Consumers are asking, am I paying for innovation or just the Apple logo? Even accessories contribute to the perception of overpricing. AirPods cost $199 to $249, and the Apple Watch Series 9 starts at $399, quickly climbing with cellular capabilities. When consumers add in iCloud storage, premium cases, and Apple Care, the ecosystem becomes expensive fast. Now, Apple's App Store practices are another major sore point. A 30% commission on in-app purchases has long been criticized, especially by developers whose margins are tight. In 2025, tensions boiled over when a US judge ruled Apple violated court orders by imposing a new 27% fee on transactions outside the App Store. Big names like Epic Games and Spotify have led the charge, but mainly smaller developers feel trapped. Without access to the iOS ecosystem, their apps would lose millions in potential revenue. This growing resentment isn't just about money, it's about trust. Developers argue Apple prioritizes profits over fairness, creativity, and innovation. As more developers voice their frustration publicly, Apple risks alienating the very creators who make its ecosystem valuable. Now, some analysts estimate that Apple's App Store fees generate over $20 billion annually. While profitable, the backlash could push developers to explore alternatives or even bypass iOS entirely in the long term. Now, Apple's hardware pricing continues to be a lightning rod. The iPhone 15 Pro Max starts at $1,199, while Android competitors often offer better specs for significantly less. But Apple doesn't just sell phones, it sells an entire ecosystem. Consider a consumer who buys an iPhone, a pair of AirPods, an Apple Watch, and subscribes to Apple Music or TV Plus. Suddenly, their annual Apple spending can exceed $3,000 to $4,000. That's a significant financial commitment for an average user. Longtime fans are beginning to question loyalty. I've always bought Apple products, but now I'm considering switching, says one online forum user. I just don't feel the value matches the price anymore. Even refurbished and trade-in programs, once marketed as cost-saving measures, now feel like a push toward continuous spending. Apple users are noticing that keeping up with the ecosystem is increasingly expensive. The consumer sentiment is evident online. YouTube comments, Reddit threads, and Twitter feeds are filled with debates over pricing, software changes, and repair policies. Apple's self-service repair program launched in 2022 aimed to give users more control, but critics say the parts and tools are expensive, sometimes costing $350 to $400 for a single repair. Meanwhile, minor software updates disrupt established workflows, frustrating professionals who rely on their devices daily. Battery replacements, once praised for convenience, are now questioned for hidden costs. Consumers are increasingly sharing stories of sudden slowdowns, reduced device lifespan, software glitches, all contributing to the narrative that Apple prioritizes profit over user experience. The message is clear. Brand loyalty is no longer enough. Every price hike or policy change is scrutinized and widely debated. Innovation has long been Apple's calling card. The first iPhone, Face ID, the App Store itself revolutionized the industry. but lately critics argue the pace has slowed. Recent iPhone releases feature incremental updates, minor camera tweaks, slightly faster processors, and small software improvements. Meanwhile, competitors like Samsung, Google, and Microsoft push boundaries with foldable devices, advanced AI features, and enhanced cross-platform integrations. Analysts warn that Apple risks being seen as a company more concerned with protecting profits than pioneering technology. Perception is everything. If consumers see Apple as stagnant or overpriced, they may explore other alternatives. Apple's business model has drawn increasing regulation attention. Antitrust investigations and lawsuits target its app practices and ecosystem control. In Germany, Apple lost a court battle over payment rules, opening the door for further scrutiny in Europe. Regulators are asking tough questions about monopoly power, fair competition, and consumer protection. For Apple, these aren't just legal hurdles. They threaten its ability to operate freely in key markets. Missteps could have long-term consequences for the company's reputation and profitability. So what does this all mean for Apple? The company faces a crossroad. It can continue prioritizing profits, risking reputation and loyalty, or it can pivot and respond to concerns from consumers, developers, and regulators. Apple's future depends on its ability to balance innovation, profitability, and fairness. One thing is certain, the world is watching. The brand that once seemed untouchable may finally be learning that loyalty has its limits. What do you think? Is Apple overplaying its hand, or will it find a way to regain trust? Share your thoughts in the comments below. All right, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for our next video where we explore the future of wearable technology and its impact on our daily lives.